Welcome to the Hot Rod Hangout Podcast. I'm Matt, and today we got a special guest in the house, Josh with Rowan Conceptz. What's going on, man?
What's going on, man?
Oh, just living.
We're just out here living.
Sweating my balls off down here in Florida. It is hot. And it ain't much cooler in South Georgia.
No, dude, it's horrible.
I'm telling you.
We do have a 4-ton AC unit on the shop, so we're good.
Oh, that's better. That's.
Oh, yeah, way better.
I ain't got no wall. We still carport status, and so.
Hey, you're there, though. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, and that was kind of one of the things that somebody else told me, and I was like, yeah, man, I'm just showing you that you don't really need all the fancy tools. And that's kind of why when your name first kind of come about on the scene, I was like, that's kind of why I started like really digging you, was because it was that success story. You had a cool truck, but the story, and if you want to go into that, we can go through the buying it and all of that stuff, because your story kind of was like, man, if this cat can make it, this is a success story. And all around good dude, you know, the family post, the car post, the fact that your son, you know, Junior's in there with you. He's building an OBS, right?
Oh, yeah. 454 SS, man.
Hell yeah. So what originally kind of got you into cars?
So my dad, I grew up, my dad to bring it back to the driveway thing, he would build Pro Street. He started with the Pro Street thing back in the early 90s. So, but he was working in the driveway, in a gravel driveway, leveling up frames and everything. So, you know, as far back as I can remember, he's always been into hot rods. It's just in my blood. So, one day he called me. I was living in Miami, and he asked me if I could feed a 454. Dude, what are you going to say to that?
Yes,
right?
sir, I can.
I mean, yes, sir, I can. I had 7 cents in my pocket, but I was going to make it work, you know? So I went up there and got it, and things happen in life where I separated from my first wife, but I didn't want to leave South Florida. We're from Atlanta, and I didn't want to leave South Florida because I had 2 kids. Mm-hmm. Well, for 6 months, I lived in this truck. And, you know, when it came time to it, it was like, man, I'm going to be exactly what she says I am to my kids. If one day they wake up and realize we're not camping,
right?
You know, Dad's really just a piece of shit. You know what I mean? Like, so I figured, it was one of the worst things I ever had to do, but it was one of the best things I ever did was as move up here to Georgia. So I had the truck. I drove it back and forth to work a few times, and then it blew up. So when it blew up, my mom helped me out and bought me a 454. My dad comes in one day and he's like, hey, you want to cut your truck up? And there again, he set me up. I said, yeah. He said, I got this 96 Impala SS. It's rolled over and it's totaled. Like the whole trunk was all in the. I said, okay, yeah. I didn't know where he was going with it. Well, he had cut the whole front subframe off at the firewall. We put that in the truck. We bagged the truck, and that's where this truck started.
Hell yeah.
So, and then it just snowballed from there. I mean, we rebuilt it twice before, but it was never what I wanted. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because this is how my dad was. He was like, I told him I wanted to body drop the truck. I wanted it laying flat on the ground. Mm-hmm. He said, man, you can't do that. What if you have a bag that blows? And I looked over at his truck and it's laying flat on the ground. So I don't know. And so I did a lot of saving. I draw. So all that drawing while I drove a truck, every single drawing we put up into a savings account. And I'm talking 7 years straight. So this time, before that, we got in a little financial bind. So I had to sell the motor, I had to sell the interior, I had to sell the wheels. So the truck sat out in the yard and weeds growing up around it for about 6 years. And one day I looked to see how much American torque thrust wheels were. and I know what I wanted. I wanted some meat, So I contacted the guy and I was like, holy shit, I got enough. I can get the wheels and tires. That's when I cut the floorboards out and we set it on the floor in the shop. So my wife and I actually, dude, I was out there cutting that thing and it still wouldn't get down, man. I was pushing on the fenders and everything, and I cut everything out. And it was just a shell and it still wouldn't go. Man, I looked back and there's a piece of metal about an inch thick hanging on in the back. I cut that thing and the truck fell on the ground. Man, I said, Trish, is it on the ground? She goes, oh my God. And I was like, oh, you get all excited, especially if it's something that you've always wanted. First of all, I've got the biggest set of Mickey Thompsons they sell. I got a 20x16 wheel in the back, and you can't see a lug nut.
A true story.
So, brother, I'm right there, and I knew right then and there we had something.
Oh, yeah.
So I slowly started gathering parts, and that's when we started saving money for the truck. Man, I kept getting this and getting that, and people wanted to help and this and that. Dude, I never realized it was going to be like it is. And it's still going. Just wait. We're going to re-debut the truck, literally. So, that's where we're at right now. So that was a quick little rundown of, where we're at.
And I know the podcast can't see it, but that smile that you just got on your face, that's what it's all about, bro.
Man, I'm telling you, dude, and every podcast I've done a bunch, man. And you guys don't get to say much because I get so pumped up and, amped up.
I'm like that. And Ashley always makes a joke. She's like, I can always tell how good the guest was. Because most of the time she's on the other side of the door. She's like, I can always tell how good the guest is by how much you talk. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, well, if you're talking about your car and you're talking, I'm okay. She's like, if you just start like random, like going on the deep end, she goes, I know he ain't talking. And so it's great. The passion, and that's kind of what makes, when I first, like I said, I seen your truck. I think it was right after y'all had painted it and there was a picture of it like ride height with the fat Mickeys. And I was like, hell yeah. And then I found out you were coming to Made of Steel. Mm-hmm. And I was like, we got to go to that show. I've had mini trucks. I had S10. I'm not really a mini truck guy. I'm more on the hot rod side. But your truck blends everything, and it's kind of the type of builds that I like. So, like, my Model A, which the internet doesn't know this, but or some of the internet knows this. My Model A is going to lay on the ground. It's going to have hydraulic suspension all hidden. So I'm using a coilover system that hides the spring or hides the coils. Or hides the hydraulic rams, rather. So when the car is laid out, it's just going to look like it's on coilovers that gave up. And it's just going to sit there on the ground. That car, when I had it in my head, I'm like, I want it to be as gangster low as it can be. I want it to be obnoxious motor. I don't have blower money, but I have tunnel ram and 2 4-barrels that I can get over the roof of it when I chop it. And it's just going to be a grungy hot rod. It ain't going to be shiny. We'll talk about something else that I got that the internet can't know about yet. Maybe going to pick it up tomorrow. Maybe.
Oh, boy.
We have a build-off going off. So I just got back a couple weeks ago from a 10-day road trip, and we went out to the final destination of the road trip was West Coast Customs Cruising Nationals.
Oh, wow.
And while we were there, hometown hot rodder Brian, he designed a 55 Crown Vic, and Ken Sainer with Bad Idea Customs, who is the one that invited us on the trip, he won a Mild Custom Award. So Brian designed the car, Ken finished it, they won an award. Well, I'm the token guy out. I didn't design shit. So we're like, hey, let's do a friendly build off. Well, I'm just a podcaster with a dream. Brian owns he does a podcast. He also owns a hot rod shop. And Ken's got guys that help him build shit. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm the underdog. I'm bringing my Model A. And they're like, don't bring the Model A, man. I'm like, I got to bring the Model A. Know. Like, that's what it is.
Yep.
And it doesn't really fit the custom, especially the way I wanted to build it. So going through everything, I don't think that's the car that's going. But it may go. We haven't figured it out. This other car, if I end up with it, that'll be the shiny car. That'll be the one. So
okay, you talking about my smile, dude? You're lit up.
So
it's so fun, isn't it?
It is great, dude. And cars, and that's the thing is, the whole reason for the podcast was I literally love everything about cars. I don't care what you have. If you're passionate about it, tell me why it's cool. Mm-hmm. You know, there's stuff that I don't agree with. Squatted trucks. I don't understand the rubber band, big wheel mud tires and stuff like that. And I give them a little bit of shit. And part of it's just because I want them to come on and tell me it's cool. I can't get none of them to come on. So I'm going to talk shit about them until they come on. And I just want to know, obviously you're not taking it off-road. You're not taking a $10,000 rim and go putting it in the mud. So I just want to know the point of it. And this is also coming from a guy that has a Cummins on 37s. I have the lifted truck in 20s. I get it looks cool. It's not very, I just don't understand it. So I want to understand it. And, hot rod stuff. You have a basis in hot rods, which is influenced into sort of a mini truck style, but also very hot rod because those meats are fat. It's awesome. That truck is literally awesome. And I assume that the young man sitting next to you's truck's probably going to be the exact same way.
Yeah, well, hopefully better. Because, every day I try to be a better guy.
Yep.
So we have a full build. Why not try to make that thing bad? Even badder than mine.
Well, and and unfortunately, or fortunately for him, but unfortunately for you, you've learned stuff on your truck that you can now use for his truck.
Well, he did too. That's the reason why I brought him over, because he was standing. I have a Budweiser cart, which it's not a Budweiser or anything, but it's a roll around cart that I use for a table. And I had tacked my frame rails together. Well, I needed somebody to hold them. Dude, he was a little guy, man. He's holding them tight, white knuckle, holding it. And I got a few stitch welds on it. Dude, he's been here ever since.
Hey.
And I don't ask him to come out. I don't. But you know what, man? This journey has changed me in a lot of ways. Made me a better dad. Made me a better friend. A better husband. A better brother to my friends.
That's
my
awesome.
close-knit guys. We have a clique. We have a crew that always comes over here just to hang out.
Yep.
Anything I say, hey, man, I'm gonna. They're already on it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So
awesome.
To me, they'll never understand how much I appreciate that, because they might see something different than I do.
Yep.
Now, you brought up my truck kind of mashes every car culture together, which that was my plan. I have the NASCAR pace truck lip on the front, open hood, and I'll explain the hood deal too. The Pro Street, just whatever. Now we're doing titanium and carbon fiber.
Okay.
So now we're taking it into a little import domestic kind of deal where just wait. Just like I said before we pulled that thing out the first time, I said, y'all be ready. And that's not talking shit. It's just, I'm so proud of what we've accomplished. We come from the gutter. I used to live in this thing. And now it's a monster, you know? So, yeah. So yeah, I'm not saying anything else about the truck because we're going to re-debut it.
Okay.
But the audio's going in it now. So it's going to be completely finished. So the only other thing I'd do to it later down the road is flush mount all the glass. Okay. But that's it, because it's exactly what I wanted. You know what I mean?
Do you have a time, or do you have a show picked out for the re-debut?
Not yet.
Do you have a timeline?
But if you want, well, it's going to be next year because of my jaw stuff and everything. So yeah. I got to kind of play that by ear financially, you know. Okay. So as soon as we're taking our time on the truck, so we don't have to redo anything. We're going to paint the jams and everything because the white stripe doesn't roll into the door jams or anything.
Okay.
Stuff like that we're going to do, you know. So, but I don't have a set thing yet until we find out what's going on.
Well, shameless plug. If you're ready January 3rd, bring that joker down to Big Daddy Don Garlett's to the hangout.
We just went there for the very first time, and that place is freaking cool, man.
So that is where we do our yearly show at.
You know what? You're only like 2.5, 3 hours maybe?
I'm 3 hours from Psycho.
Yeah, we live in the same place.
Oh, okay.
Literally. Yeah, he lives across town.
Okay.
Like, I live right next to Dalton's grandparents.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. So, let me get into the hood thing real quick because everybody asks me about the hood. Why don't you have a hood? It doesn't look finished. It doesn't this and that. So, growing up where I grew up, we grew up in a rough neighborhood, but it was the safest neighborhood for us. You know what I mean? Because we all knew each other. Mm-hmm. The families knew each other. But if you're an outsider coming in, you just kind of got a tip. It's scary, you know? Well, I remember hearing dudes do burnouts of teenagers when I was growing up. Camaros, Novas. It was just Camaros and Novas. 383 stroker motors in them. You could hear them coming. They were always working on their cars. So most of the time they didn't put a hood back on it because they're, you know.
Yep.
So I want to pay tribute to my hood, my neighborhood, and how I grew up, because to me, that was the coolest thing ever. Yeah. You hear that motor and you could see the chrome glistening off the air cleaner. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So from day one, since you know my truck, you've never seen, 2014, we tried it, and then my world got turned to shit real quick. So I'm like, I'm never putting a hood back on it. You know what I mean? So,
hey, car guy superstition.
That's the whole hood thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. When I seen it, like I said, the first time I'd seen pictures of it, because Made of Steel was the second show you took it to, right?
We went to Mini Nats. That's where we debuted it, at Mini Nats. I got to tell you about that. From start to finish, bro. It
was the second show, yeah.
Yeah, Made of Steel, and then we went to Bama, and then I went to Dino.
So I had seen the Mini Nats, because when you rolled it out, everybody and their mother was shooting that car, from amateurs to all of them. So I had seen the car, and I was like, all right, I definitely. And then you had said you were going to Made of Steel, and we're like 30 minutes from there. So I'm like, all right, well, I guess I wasn't going to go, but, you know, let's go check the show out. And I met you. You probably don't even remember me, because there was a mob around that truck all day.
Yeah, it's like that, man.
I get it.
Hey, we know each other now.
Yes. And like I said, I didn't even, we had the podcast, but it wasn't like nothing real. And I don't even think I brought it up. I think I was just like, hey man, you know, beautiful truck, and left because there was so many people around. And I was like, I get, and this is for the internet to know too, I get very imposter syndrome. Like, why do people want to talk to me? Mm-hmm. So like when I reached out,
I'm the same way, dude.
So when I reached out to you and you were like, hell yeah, let's do this. And I was like, okay. Like that, I didn't even like have to sort of convince you. Like, it was awesome. And people run into us and they'll be like, oh yeah, I know you. I had somebody send me a picture of one of our shirts, and I was like, there's two of y'all in the same zip code? Like, that's crazy. You know, I always joke, like, we have 12 listeners and I'm 9 of them, you know, so, so it was, you know, I didn't want to take up any time or bother. And I also know from being at car shows, like, if everybody's mobbing around you, sometimes you just want to like, okay, put some distance. You know, I need a little bit of space. I'm starting to get overwhelmed, and that truck will, I'm pretty sure, get you overwhelmed if you allow people to get.
Well, it's not overwhelming if it's something I always wanted.
That's true. That is true. But it's just the crowd.
You know what I mean? Because
and the back door, that crazy, the no hood, the turbos, that whole truck. You could stand at the front of the truck and find something super cool. You could stand at the back of the truck, and if you know what you're looking at, you're like, something's off. But y'all did it in a way that's very throwback to like 50s, 60s customs, where you made a change, but unless you absolutely know what it is, you just know something's different.
I love massaging stuff. So the hatch, it was just because I couldn't see out the back doors. Like you have two windows, you have the two windows, and then you got the post. Well, you look in the rearview mirror, you can't see anything out back.
Yeah.
So I've been wanting to do this forever. So I cut two doors in half and cut another one in half and made it work,
Yeah.
So, but it's the first in the world. And I tell people that, and they're like, no, it's not. And they send me pictures of like 67, 72 Suburbans. And I'm like, that's where I got it from. But I made this,
Yeah.
So it's funny, and then I just stop arguing about it because, like you said, a lot of people just walk by it, man. They, there's so many. You can flip the truck upside down, and it's the same exact way.
Oh, yeah.
That's another thing we're doing. We're building a belly pan for it, a full belly pan, painted. Tell me that ain't cool, man. Shoot.
That's cool, but that truck sits pretty low, man. That paint might not last that long.
Well, it lays on the body, but I have 2 inches so that the rockers actually sit down past the frame.
Oh,
I did that
okay.
on purpose. I traditionally body dropped it, so I did it 6 inches so I could have clearance, so I wouldn't tear nothing up.
Okay.
If I tear a rocker up, that's fine, but if I tear an oil pan off, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I'd rather be safe than sorry, But
so
hey,
it legit lows body.
Yeah, man. So let's go back to if you don't mind, let's go back to mini nats because
Okay.
I got to tell you what happened. The last 2 days before mini nats, we're sitting there and the truck's still blown apart. We're wiring windows. Now, all this stuff is one-off stuff. We don't buy kits. We make the stuff, right? So we're up for one solid straight day. Well, we all decided just to keep going because we were supposed to leave that Wednesday.
Yeah.
Well, now it's Wednesday. We've been up all day Tuesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
We go all the way Wednesday and kept pushing and pushing and pushing. Dude, we didn't leave until Thursday.
4 in the afternoon.
At 4 in the afternoon. We're supposed to be there Thursday morning, right? We're up for 2 straight days. We got to drive 8.5 hours without stopping to Maggie Valley, North Carolina. Bro, I'm telling you right now, that was probably the worst trip I've ever had in my life because we were probably 10 minutes away and I'm just crashing. I'm dozing off and everything. My buddies are texting me, where you at? Where you at? I said, we're coming, man. First, it was 10 o'clock at night. Then it was 11. Then it was 12. And then finally, we're getting close. So I'm like, we'll be there in 10 minutes, Bro, I promise you, it was like a movie. I might get emotional here for a second, but it was like a freaking movie, dude. We turned the corner. There must have been 300 people standing there waiting to see the truck. This is at 1 o'clock in the morning. The town's shut down.
Yeah.
So everybody's standing there, and I'm like, oh, man, everybody's still up. Cool. We pull in there. Everybody's like, holy shit. Like, oh, my God, this thing is crazy. Well, I go to start it, and the battery's dead. So I'm like, dang it. Well, whenever I got back out of the truck, everybody left. And I asked my buddy Ronnie, what? And he's like, they waited for you to get here so they could see the truck first.
Hell
Bro,
yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if that's not the biggest poke your chest out, proud moment.
Hell yeah.
You know, some people take it as egotistical, like,
Nah.
yeah, I'm the shit, blah, blah, blah. Me, it hit my soul, man.
Oh, yeah.
And that's the reason why I get so excited about this stuff, because this is stuff I've always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So if we're ever at a show and you see grown men, women, kids sitting in my truck, it's because I'm selling my buddy's stuff.
Yep.
My interior guy stuff. What's the point of me not sharing my truck with anybody?
Oh, yeah.
How am I going to sell my buddy's stuff? And how am I going to make this kid's day? Like, holy crap.
And that kid, and you may not remember that kid, but that kid will always remember that truck.
Yep. I even let some of them start it.
Oh.
Their dads are so jealous. But it's one of those things where it's the whole package, man. I want you, like what you just said about me, about being busy and this and that. Man, I've had people standing for 30 minutes staring at me because I'm talking to people and they're waiting their turn.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just be like, what's up, man? And I feel weird about it because it's weird. You know what I mean? It's like I got
understand
thrown into the limelight,
Trust me, I understand it. The first time when we started the podcast, Brian, Hometown Hot Rodder, shout out to him again. I was a listener of his podcast forever. And our podcasts are completely 180 different. We're cars with try to be a little funny. They're funny, and they try to do a little bit of car stuff, which it's getting more car stuff now because now in the build off, so now he gets to talk about that car.
Yep.
So he heard us, and he's like, hey, y'all are doing exactly what we tried to do. We just couldn't turn off the shtick. There's this garage talk. It's two buddies, where usually it's me and my wife. So if we go to a show, we kind of debrief the show on the way home and then try to rehash it on the podcast. Where they go to a show, they go home to their own separate houses. They ain't talked about it. They come back in. Well, now they have content.
That's right.
I come home and tell my wife about the day, eat supper. She tells me, how the dogs didn't do, weren't real good coworkers today. And I'm like, okay. So that we don't have that intimate or that content where they do. Yeah. So he reached out and was like, hey, man, we want to help you. And I'm like, all right, cool. And late nights and trying to figure out everything, trying to figure this out even, the StreamYard. Still, we haven't figured it out completely. See, told you. So he was like, yeah, man, the first time you walk in somewhere and it's not like your local store and somebody goes, hey, you're going to flip. And I went, it ain't going to happen. I was in Salt Lake City, Utah, catching a flight to Missoula, Montana to go on that road trip. And somebody went, hey, man, have a good time on your road trip. And I went, do what? He's like, you're Matt from Hot Rod Hangout, right? And I was like, yeah. He goes, tell Brian I said, what's up? I'm like, what? He's like, oh, yeah, I listen to both of y'all. I'm like, all right, cool. You should listen to us more. And he's like, and Brian, same thing. It's just weird because, again, that imposter syndrome. Like, why do you want to talk to me? What do I have? And I'm my Model A is going to be dope. I'm going to love it. I'm building it for me. It's kind of like your Suburban, when that car's finished, that's what it's going to be. And that's kind of why I'm rolling over the fact of maybe not building that car for this build off, because building it that way to fit that type of show isn't really what the car wants or what I want.
Learned over the years. I learned over the years. I'm 47 years old, and what I've learned is it's almost like buying your first set of wheels. You know what you want, you know what you love, but you get seeing all these other ones. Mm-hmm. Now you're second guessing everything.
Yep.
Nah, dog, go with your gut.
Yeah.
And that is a big thing. If you can go with your gut, man, and that it's always been the right choice.
Oh,
always.
Yep.
Like people ask, why did you put torque thrust wheels on them? Because I grew up.
That was the wheel.
Those wheels. That was the hot rod wheel.
Yep.
Now they're 20s. Now they're my generation size. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I want. I want big wheels.
Yep.
So that's the reason why we only went with a 20, because I want meat on the back and the front. You know what I'm saying? So meat. And these tires, they're about 4 inches wider and taller than a 405 tire. So, they're 33/22 Mickey Thompson. So they're big ones. You can't see them, but that's cool.
Yeah, but you can see that lip. Because that Joker got all that lip.
All of it. It was running its mouth, got that fat lip.
You put a baby in them lips.
Yeah, man. So, oh yeah. So we're doing man. We're gonna shock some people with this one, and we got invited to an end of the year show, which is probably the biggest thing I've ever been invited to, and I can't say it yet, but I'll tell you off.
Okay,
bro. When I tell you, you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, look at this kid! Look at him! You see him? He's getting like a little girl, like we do, man."
And this right here is exactly what it's all about.
I can't stand those people. Let's just be real. I can't stand those people. Like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, man, we know you got something cool. You ain't got to act like, you know what I mean? Like, let's just. This is supposed to take you out of the real world. Mm-hmm. And let you have your kind of fun.
Yep.
It's not a roller coaster. It's not a water park. It's not a football game. It's not a baseball game. It's hot rodding. And I don't care if you're a mini trucker, you got a squatted truck or anything. It's all hot rods to me.
Well, and the way I look at it, we all do the same stuff. That's what I've had this argument, like, the older generation. We always joke we're a younger generation couple trying to keep hot rodding alive. Squatted trucks are just gassers. I hate to break it to them, but y'all raise the front end of the car as far as you could get it, and you slam the back of the car as far down as you can get it. Y'all just called it a gasser. It was still unsafe back then.
When we were riding, we got the front end up.
Yeah, so you can turn.
So how's that much any different?
Yep. Mini truckers and new age is body drop. Hot rodders call it channeling.
Mm-hmm.
We're all swapping motors. We're all, hot rodders swap small blocks, big blocks, whatever. New age mini truckers are LS, and if you can afford.
I like how the hot rod's coming back. It's not coming back. It's been here.
Yeah.
But I like how everybody's kind of churning to that as they get older. You know what I mean? Because you could tell these mini trucker guys, they're complete hot rodders now. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying transition, but I love seeing a fat tired S10 laid on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, or a Ranger. It don't matter what it is. We grew up in a predominantly GM family, but I don't look at shit like that. If it's cool, it's cool. Period. I don't care what it is. I
always joke my dog's name's Chevy. My dog's name's Chevy. I drive a Ram. I'm building a Ford. The car that I'm picking up isn't any of those brands. So, I don't care what it is. If it's cool, it's cool.
Yeah.
And even if I don't think it's cool, if you think it's cool, I'm cool.
Yeah. Well, that's my motto. You can ask anybody that knows me real good. I get along with people because this is my motto. If you're cool, we're cool. 1000%. And it's easy. It's simple, straightforward. You know what I mean? If I walk up to you and your shit don't stink, I'm just going to walk away. I don't need, and that's just the way I am. Even if I love your car, it's just kind of a turn off. You know what I mean? Like, we're supposed to be having fun. This ain't no stupid gang shit or, anything like that. People always, I'm better than you. Of course, when you go to a car show, people, to me, has lost the fact of it is a competition. You're going to a car show to show off what you've done and hang out with your buddies, right? That's cool. It's all supposed to be friendly. It's supposed to, like I said a while ago, it takes us away from, no. And you notice I didn't say that. So it's, it's all about, hell, I don't know. The trophy thing, everybody's talking about it. I love getting trophies, but I want to show you what I just did with my kid.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want.
Well,
and whoever wants to be my buddy, and we've been fortunate, man. A lot of people, we get along with everybody, like literally.
And that's our show. When I said I want to do a show, I'm like, I don't want to do a top 30. I don't want to do, because to me, top 30 is participation trophy.
Yeah.
I don't, we had 3 awards last year. We had a longest distance driven. My wife picked a car that was either driven or lady owned. And then we had a podcast pick. All of our car clubs that came, build a trophy, give your award away to the car that you like. Our sponsors,
I like that a lot.
Our sponsors, build a trophy, buy a trophy, paint a trophy, whatever you want to do, bring it, give it away. If you are a paint shop and you want to give best paint, I don't care. But I'm giving my 3 awards. And we got so much hate. Why aren't you doing a top 30? And I'm like, because you would be mad. Why? I'm like, because you wouldn't win.
Yeah.
Because if I pick the car, I can guarantee that it's going to be something weird.
Yeah.
I don't, I love a 69 Camaro. Don't get me wrong. Love one. I'd never own one just because it's not me.
This is our guy.
I love muscle cars. I love them. Great. They're awesome. But for me, they're not me.
I walk right past them, man.
And
I swear I do.
It takes a lot to stand out with those cars because most people want to keep it somewhere close to original.
Right.
I'm not that guy.
I don't understand that part. It's just probably I'm a little biased because I grew up in it, but I never understood numbers matching cars. I hate them. I don't hate them, but you know what I mean. Like, it's just like it's a factory car. Like what?
Like our podcast pick was a 54 Dodge Meadowbrook with a 12 valve Cummins that was built in 4 days. And I know it was built in 4 days because he used my gantry to pull the motor out of the square body C10 or C30 and drop it in the car. We did it live on Facebook Live, cutting the firewall to jam this motor in. It even kept the fender wells.
Really?
Yes.
Holy crap.
And they unloaded it off a trailer. They trailered it there. It had a shoestring on the throttle. She backed it up. It had no intake tube. So it was just straight turbo. And coming across the show field, she wop, 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 and rolled coal out of a hood stack with no hood.
Yeah.
And parked it. It doesn't have a lick of suspension underneath of it because he went to a local show and we were getting ready to go to a local show, and another guy at the time had said that, man, that car's in the nosebleed section. You got to get it out before you show up to the show. So he cut the coils out of it, set it on the front bump stops, and disconnected the rear leaf springs. And it's literally like inches off the ground. And that's how it sit. And if you go back on our TikTok, you can watch it doing a burnout, leaving a local show, still with no suspension underneath of it, axle wrapping and everything, having a good old time.
Ooh.
That was the car that won our award because of the story. Was there nicer cars there? Yeah. But that guy and his wife, and a little help from a podcaster, jammed a Cummins motor in a car that was never designed to have a Cummins in it. And it actually fit pretty well.
Things scary fast, huh? I mean, it's got to be crazy with torquey.
Oh, it's very torquey.
Oh, God.
But it does now have a throttle pedal. But
that's cool.
And she wants a 5-speed. She wants the third pedal to work again. So it's eventually going to have a 5-speed behind the Cummins. So that's why not Fab, the guy that's helping me with the Model A, and he'll continue to help me. He's like you, the buddies, the friends that you make that are down are the ones that are the best. We've been out here. Hey man, I'll order some pizza. It's 1:00 in the morning. I know you got to get up to go to work tomorrow. You can bounce whenever you need to. Nah, man, we got like an hour left. We'll just finish it up. Okay, man. I'm game. Let's do this but like, you really don't have to stay and work on my car. This car doesn't have to go anywhere tonight. Oh, we're almost done. Like, he got an opportunity to go on sick week and called me like, hey man, I'm so sorry. And I'm like, what? And he's like, I'm not going to be able to come over and weld them frame rails. And I was like, you're fine, dude. And he's like, I got an opportunity to go on sick week. I'm like, I'm going to be mad if you don't go to sick week. So go.
Exactly. Yep.
You know, and that's the type of friendships that you make in this car world that are so amazing, because those buddies that come and help you aren't doing it for what you offer. They're just down.
None of my friends, listen, none of my friends, we have about what, Mike, 10 roughly in our little thing. Not one of them has ever asked me for anything. Mm-hmm. Not one. But they'll get out there and work. And I feel bad because it's like what you're saying, exactly what you're saying. Dude, why don't you go home? My buddy Mike's sitting right here. He works in a hot shop all day long in the heat you talked about a while ago. Bro, all day long. Gets off of work, drives 30 minutes to my house, and stays until 10, 11 o'clock. Goes 30 minutes back, gets up and does it again. He's sitting right here.
Yeah.
I tell him, stay home. He's like, shut up. Mm-hmm. I'm like, all right, man, whatever, shoot. And they won't let me, I say they won't let me do anything, but they it's kind of like your buddy getting a Lambo or something and you get to wash it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, oh my God, I washed that thing. It was so cool. I'm a part of it. And I want everyone that's a part of this truck to feel the way I feel.
Oh, yeah.
So you can ask my boy Mike right here. We do nothing but laugh in the shop and have fun and sing and rap and whatever we got to do, all that to say it was natural. There was no forcing anything. There was no like, hey man, you could do this for me and I could do this for you. None of that at all. And it's still not that. But now they know if they need something, I got them. And I know if I need something, they got me. Mm-hmm. And like I said, it's natural. It's kind of like my marriage. We weren't looking for each other.
Oh, no.
And it just happened naturally. And here we are 20 years later.
That's the same. So, that's the same thing with me and my wife. It was during COVID and she needed toilet paper.
Dude, you hooked her ass up for real.
So she had come over. She was a hairdresser. She doesn't watch the news still to this day. The world could be falling apart. She doesn't pay attention. She gets her news from me.
For her.
She gets her news from me. So if I'm not concerned, she's not concerned. We're good. And we had met online during lockdown. And she's like, hey, we talked or whatever. And I tried to get her to come up for dinner. She's like, no, not tonight. I'm like, okay, whatever. And
she blew you off until she needs some butt paper.
So we're sitting there and I'm like, hey, like, listen, I gotta, I ate, so I gotta go do what you do after you eat. And she's like, yeah, I gotta try to find some toilet paper tomorrow. I'm like, well, I got all the toilet paper. I'm a single dude. Like, I got all the toilet paper. So convinced her to come up, and she sort of went home for a day, come back the next day, and she's like, hey, is it okay if I clean your house while you're at work? And I'm like, yeah. I come home, there's meal on the table, and my house is clean. I'm like, you ain't never going nowhere, and she ain't left yet, so I can't get rid of her.
Hey, it's a love story of a roll of toilet paper. Yep. This is the most amazing. Dude, there's got to be a movie. We got to do something, dude. And we got to start when he was a young treeling in the ground, and he grew up, and now he's like,
oh yeah. And she never took no toilet paper home with her. She just come to my house, I guess. But
hey, there you go, man.
But and
you hear that?
The car stuff, she was never involved in cars. I told her, I was like, listen, like, the world's kind of falling apart, and car stuff, at that time it was bikes. I said, the garage is kind of what gives me peace. So you can either sit in the house and watch TV, you can go back to your house, or you can come hang out in the garage. And she's like, I can come hang out in the garage. And I was like, yeah. And then I started like,
they don't know what they do to us when they do that. They have no clue. Mm-hmm. They always say, we don't understand women. Of course not. And you guys don't understand us. And you don't know what pulls at us.
Oh yeah.
And it inspires us just looking at us, or even walking out there. You need anything?
Yep.
That stuff right there, that's my wife. And it's just, sounds like you got the same thing, dude.
And she's not the fabrication side. She has no desire to learn anything on fabrication. I was bored. I had scrap metal. I was welding. I said, hey, you want to weld those two pieces of metal together? She welded it. It looked great. It looked better than my welds probably, but it's going to stick. It might not look pretty, but it'll be stuck together when I'm done.
We ain't going nowhere. Yeah.
But like the 54, when we bought it, it's her car. It's our car, but it's her car. It needed exhaust done on it, or it needed exhaust manifolds. She fucked a nail to hell, said cuss words at it, walked away, and I'm like, well, there goes my helper in the shop. About 10 minutes later, she come back. She's like, man, FTC. And I was like, yep. And she's like, all right, let's do this. And I was like, you're coming back to help? And she's like, yeah, we got to get it done. And I'm like, yeah, you're a car person. You're stuck now.
Hell yeah.
And she knows how to change her own oil. I do it, but she knows how. She'll come hang out in the shop. She, like I said, she doesn't like being on video. She doesn't like doing any of that stuff, but she'll come hang out. She'll film. She edits the podcast. Every podcast that's ever been put out, she's edited. It's a yin and yang. Sometimes she doesn't feel like going out there. I'm fine with that. But she still comes out and goes, hey, can I get you a Propel or a water? You need anything? Hey, she'll see me struggling. Hey, dumbass, if you flip that over, it's round. It'll probably fit in that hole. Because literally everybody, you don't have to have a whole lot of knowledge to be able to help. And it's hard for people to understand that, but countless times it's something stupid. You didn't hook a wire up and now it doesn't work and you can't figure out why. And you've been from one end of the wire to the other end of the wire and you can't figure out where that wire got. Oh, well, somewhere in the middle, there was a lug that was supposed to get 2 wires on it and that's only got 1.
Yeah.
Just stupid stuff that another person's perspective can go, hey, why don't you take a look at that? So
I thankfully, my buddy Mike, Dustin, my buddy Josh, he's got a GTR, bro. He's doing all the titanium stuff on my truck.
Okay.
That's where we're getting all that from. So, but all my friends, hey, what if you did this? Mm-hmm. What if we change the color of this? What if we slick this out? What if we did this? What if we hardlined everything? Took all the braided lines off? Yeah, that's happening. It's all black anodized to everything.
Yeah.
We're putting nitrous on it now. So we just, bro, I got to tell you something. Things happen to me and I can't believe, it's not real. Me and my buddy sat over here, me and Mike a while ago, just giggling. Like, we can't believe this is happening. Mm-hmm. Nitrous Express hits me up.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, we'd like to help you out. And I went, okay, well, give me a total and all that. And they were like, no, you don't understand. We're going to help you out.
Yeah.
How wild, as a hot rod guy, a company coming to you, bro, it's like you came to me. I got the same feeling. It's like when people are interested in what we're doing, It makes my life so much better. It's such a big bonus, because you guys are interested in what we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just one of those things. It's like a real life TV show.
Yep.
Everybody's tuned into that channel.
Yep.
And we don't even have a TV show, so.
And that's it. And that's the going places and seeing what others are doing. Like, I come back from West Coast Customs and I was lighting the world on fire. I'm slicking this Model A. That Joker's going to be as straight as it could possibly be, and I'm going to paint it, and I'm going to get Psycho Fab to lay some lace graphics, and we're going crazy. I don't have the skills to get that Joker anywhere near square. But I come back inspired like a motherfucker, and I was going to do it, and, it just... And that's not the car for that, and that's not what it wants. So it's not getting done. But just seeing other people, because the amount of cars that are at a car show or trucks at a truck show or mini trucks or hot rods that are so far beyond the quote unquote normal. And then you talk to those guys, and usually those are the guys that are like super down to earth. Your story, out in California, you see this cool behind custom, and they're like, you talking to the guy, and the guy's like, yeah, I live in California, so everything's expensive. I got evicted. I had, 2 nickels to rub together, and my buddy over there, he had this 54 laying in the backyard, and hey, if you want to do it, you do it. And this guy chopped it, and this guy, and it's like a whole family.
Mm-hmm.
We ended up at a lowrider, the president of a lowrider club's house, and walking in the door, and I'm looking, me and Brian, I look at Brian, and I'm like, are we like, this could go bad.
Be here.
Like,
yeah,
this could go bad. And he's like, they says it's okay. And I'm like, I don't know. And we walked in the door, and the first words out of the guy's mouth, he introduced himself. We introduced ourselves. He's like, all right, tequila's in the cooler, tequila's on the table, beer's in the cooler. Y'all hungry? It's like 12:30 at night. He's like, y'all hungry? Mom will make some tacos. And I'm like,
what?
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
Do you want to see my cars? And I'm like, yes. And he's like showing us, he's got a step side square body that's on its ass. He got a 54. There's a 64 Impala on juice in the backyard. He's painting underneath an awning. And I'm like,
it's beautiful too, isn't it?
oh yeah.
Just immaculate.
His wife, I think he said his wife had like 1,000 hours in engraving.
Holy crap.
Every single thing under the hood was touched by an engraver. The core support was engraved. The panel between the radiator and the cowl pan, or the just everything. Valve covers. It had the AN fitting for the radiator. The AN fittings were engraved. I'm like, how did you even get those on without messing up the engraving? I'm like, drive shaft, suspension, everything chrome. I'm like, God, like, I can't even imagine this. I don't even want to be in the same like area of this car because I'm. And then you see those same guys the next night hopping, listening to music, got the little kid
driving
in the back.
Those cars.
Yeah, and it's like, man. Oh, we went to Turkey Rod Run 2 years ago. We were at Turkey Rod Run, and there was a whole bunch of like lowrider Chino style builds, and it started raining. And I was like, well, I guess those guys are going to be heading to the trailers, because I was like, there's no way that these guys drove these cars here, because they were like Lauderdale, Miami. I'm like, there ain't no way. In the pouring down rain, in convertibles, blaring Spanish music, hopping, leaving with big old smiles on their faces. And I'm like,
tell me that wasn't the best
that's what it is
ever.
So I'm like, all right, next day, we get to the show at 8 o'clock in the morning. Every single one of those cars were back detailed like they ain't never seen rain in their life. Polished up, I don't shave, but could have shaved in the wheels, could have shaved on the, the motors are just absolutely beautiful. And I'm like, I feel really bad because like our car looks like shit because I didn't do nothing to it. I just drove it back to the Airbnb. And these joggers stayed up all night polishing just to do it again tomorrow.
Well, that's the only thing I don't like about having a finished vehicle. Okay. God.
Yeah.
At least I got a team, but when I'm out there and I see something and God, that motor is just, dude, it took me 2 days to polish everything and then had to cover it up and we put it in the trailer and took it to Arizona. Man, I'm so glad I did it here because, you've been out west. It's hot.
Oh, yeah.
It's a different hot,
Especially Arizona.
Oh, yeah. Well, we went out there to Dino's, dude, and it was like we lived over there.
Oh,
the people, like everybody just was digging the truck. And it's cool because I needed to do that for myself because now we got the entire United States
Yep.
that's seen the truck in person, East Coast and West Coast.
Yep.
Next year, I think we're going to try to hit Texas, like LST or something. But we're going to try to hit some shows that we haven't hit before, just so we can get a different atmosphere and have other people that can't make it to the southern shows. You know, I want to go up north. You know, I want to do some stuff.
And there's a different car culture everywhere.
Absolutely. By the way, I don't mean to cut you off, but I absolutely love Arizona.
Yes.
Those people out there, that's the first time I ever seen lowriders, and like I've seen them here and there and then, but we're in their home.
Oh yeah.
And my wife and I were driving, and I got the trailer behind me, and all of a sudden I look over, and this bald dude in a red, like 67 Impala, the big square one, just bouncing right beside the truck. Dude, I look over to my left, and they're all in a parking lot, just sitting three-wheel, just hard as shit. And I'm like, oh my God, we're in a movie. I'm telling you, that experience is completely different than what we go through.
Oh yeah.
You know, over here, Florida, you know, all the way up the coast, it's just, we have our own kind of deal.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
over there, they got their
East Coast versus West Coast hot rods are completely different.
Yep.
You know, East Coast, West Coast mini trucks, completely different. The graphics, the way they do stuff. A matter of fact, that was the original reason when I first started the Model A. That was the original reason why I thought about hydraulics, was because I had a buddy that I went to high school with, and everything he owned was on air. And he moved to Arizona for a little while, and he comes back, and I'm talking to him. I'm like, hey, man, this is what I want to do. I want to hide air ride. And he's like, no, you don't. And I'm like, yeah, I do. And he's like, I know the maintenance. I know all that. He goes, you don't want to hide air ride. And I'm like, I do. And he's like, I want it to lay on the ground. He goes, do you want to do hydraulics? And I was like, I don't. I'm like, I'm not hopping a 29 Model A. And he's like, you don't have to hop it. And I'm like, I don't understand what you're saying. Because everything hydraulics is, you put 85 batteries in the trunk and you try to sit it on its bumper. That was everything I had in my head. And I'm like, okay, well, it's going to ride like shit. He goes, no, it won't. You use accumulator. And I'm like, and he's giving me all of this information. And I'm like, all right. He goes, and there's no air leaks. He goes, if you have a leak, there'll be a puddle.
You'll know it.
And I was like, noted. And he's like, you know, it makes sense. And I'm like, okay. Well, he ended up getting busy. And I'm like, well, if I have to build this car, I have to go with what I know. And I know air ride, so I'm going air ride. And circle back around, I end up at Turkey Rod Run. I run into this really dope lime green with a whole bunch of lowrider graphics and a crazy guy driving it, and don't even realize that probably 3 months after that, I'm going to reach out to this guy on Instagram called Psycho and go, hey man, I want you to come on a podcast. We get talking and realize that we were parked right next to each other at the Turkey Rod Run Rat Rod show. And I'm like, oh, and he's like, oh, you were the 54 that I asked to move so we could leave. And I was like, that'd be me. And I'm like, you're the one with the bomb in your center console. And he was like, that would be me. And I'm like, okay. Got talking to him, and he's like, dude, just do a 12-volt system. Do this. And I'm like, we finished recording. I went and took a nap, got in my truck, and drove the 3 hours to his house the next day for Good Friday, just so I could ride in his car and be like, okay, I could do this. You know, and,
thank you.
You know, just for nothing. He didn't like, oh, well, buy me lunch, or he didn't, you know, it was come up, hang out. We took his car, we took Green Mile around. I'm like, well, this ride's about as good as the 54 does right now. And it's on springs. And he's like, yeah, it doesn't ride that bad. And I'm like, oh, hit a dirt road. And we're like running 60 down a dirt road. I'm like, the 54 would have broke way back there. You know, and just the people you meet that are just down. Like, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
But out there, that's what he was saying. He said, out there, they don't use air ride. Everything is on hydraulics. And I was like, I don't understand that. And just different, even California, completely different lowriders in California than there are, South Florida has a big, you live there, has a big lowrider culture. But those two groups are not the same.
There's nothing compared to the West Coast. And I'm not putting our side down because we got fire too.
Yeah.
But where it originated is always home of hot rods.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that was up north, but just hot rods and lowriders and all that stuff. Dude, they know their shit over there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they know it's generational. Mm-hmm. It's not like it's not like my dad was into it. No, my grandfather's grandfather was into it, and they were bouncing back in the 60s and 70s. Mm-hmm. So it's generational over there. So there's nothing you could say to those guys. I mean, they're immaculate. Like you said, them frames and the drive shafts and the U-joints and just everything engraved, and they drive the shit out of them. It don't matter what's going on, and I love that. Whereas over here, a lot of people's got these high-dollar rides that they don't drive. Mm-mm. They just sit there. People pick on me. Oh, that's a nice paperweight. This and that. Josh, what's going to happen?
We're going to drive it.
We're going to drive the hell out of it. And you're going to see burnouts. You're going to see, why would I do all this for nothing, just to show it off?
Yeah.
I want to have fun with it. I could have went and bought 2 Corvettes. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could have went and bought 2 brand Corvette. New CA Corvettes. Yeah. Brand new. But I don't want a Corvette.
Yeah.
I want a Suburban with a big block Chevy in it that'll knock heads off of Mustangs all day long, or Chargers, or anything.
And it wop-wops. And when you get on it, it actually...
Hey, we haven't got on it yet, right? But I gave it a little throttle, and I have on my TikTok, there's a video of it. Brother, that thing goes... and it just squats. I mean, we got a wishbone 3-link in the back.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, it's like Baja suspension. I can jack the truck up and the tires are still on the ground. You know what I mean? So, well, I don't know, man. I want a Corvette, by the way. But, but I think I've maxed out my credit cards on of life with my wife. She's next. Well, Josh is next, but, she's got a built Denali. So we just got to get that. We got to tweak it a little bit, Yeah,
you gotta put your flavor on it.
Yeah, man. Got to put my stank on it. That's what I say.
So, speaking of shows, is there a show that you try to make every year?
Yeah. Battle in Bama, 1,000%, because it is a hot rod show, but they have everything there. Mm-hmm. It's okay. So I'm going to be honest with you. The guy that puts it on, Craig Rowley, he's one of my close friends. Right. So I go in there and I'm not thinking about anything else but showing off my truck. And hopefully we get a big dog award, because you get an award there. That's a big deal.
Yes.
I go there. What do I see? The first, second, third, fourth car, they got over $1 million in these cars. And I'm like, there ain't no damn chance that I'm going to get anything, because they are just ungodly badass. You know what I mean? Bro, we get a top 100, and I'm telling you right now, getting that there, that's a big deal. That is a big, big deal. So just sitting over here on my shelf, and that one right there hit me so hard, because it was like I didn't think that we would do anything, And like I said, we don't go for that stuff. But I want that show right there. If you get something going on there, you got something going on, So, and there's no favoritism or anything.
No,
you better bring your shit.
Yeah.
That's the World of Wheels to me these days. Yep. I used to go to the World of Wheels in Atlanta with my dad in Omni, and just the Bama's the one I'm trying to hit. Now, Dino's, I do all the artwork for them out there in Arizona. So I have 2 shirt designs done already for this year, but he's invited me back out. So I'm not sure if we're going to take the truck or we're just going to fly out or whatever. I really want to take the truck, but as far as business wise, it'll be smart for me just to go out there anyway,
Yeah.
like scraping the coast. God dang, dude, I want to go to scraping the coast so bad, but it's not ready yet, and I want to, when we pull it out, I just want to make sure it's done to where there's nothing else we could possibly do to make it any badder or make it tacky or any, you know what I mean? So, it's coming.
Well, and you owe that truck because of revealing it and getting all the pop that you got that time. That truck earned, let it sit, let it simmer, come back out and show it what it, show everybody what it can be.
It's funny. I can sit in there and smell the leather. But when I think about sleeping in that thing in Miami, Florida with the doors open because the windows went, I can smell that truck.
Oh, yeah.
So it always, no matter what, it always humbles me to where I could be like, man, I can not have any of this. This truck literally got me right here talking to you.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So it's housed me. It got me up here 55 miles an hour all the way up here from Miami because the tires had bubbles in them. I had everything I owned in that truck, and I had a sock, like one of them long socks, a tube sock full of change. That's how I got here. On that, that's it. So it's been a crazy ride in it. And like I said in the beginning, dude, I can't believe stuff's happening like it is. It's just it's amazing. Things just coming, like even walking out there and looking at it, like holy shit, I got an air conditioned shop. I'm not supposed to have this stuff.
Right.
I'm supposed to be in a driveway. You know what I mean? But
well, that was with the build off. We're going back and forth. It's internet drama. I love him. I love Brian. I love Ken. But we're gonna talk a little shit because we're friends.
Oh yeah, you have to.
And he had Brian posted something, and ended it with, but we're gonna win. And I shared it. And I was like, yeah, you got everything right except for that last part. We gonna win. And he said, well, silver holds up better in Florida. And I said, dude, you should win. I don't own a hot rod shop. He go, well, I said, but when I beat you, boy, it's gonna be sweet.
Yeah.
And my mom and dad decided that they're not making the drive with me. They're not that committed, which I get. I'm stupid for trying to make it myself. But they're going to fly out there. So my mom and dad, which my dad is the one that I owe all my wanting to be in this shit to, he's going to be there. So if I win something, that's going to be, that's going to be super special. And now it looks like we're going to get a chance to cruise in something that I built for Friday night. And if you've never been to the West Coast Cruising Nationals, the Friday night cruise is way cooler than the show.
Wow.
It's everybody that's going to the show on Main Street just making laps.
And that's how Dino's is.
Yep.
Same thing, dude. Oh my God, there was 10,000 trucks out there this year.
Yeah, he gets, and another one started as an appliance store, and he gave everybody free food.
In his yard. He started that in his yard.
Yeah, that's right. And
now he's been one of my good friends forever, but last year he hit me up about the T-shirts. He needed 8 T-shirt designs. Yeesh. I hand draw everything. I don't computerize nothing. I'll draw on my iPad, but it's like I'm drawing on paper. So I got to come up with this stuff and make it different from everybody else's, but he's such a hot rodder. I mean, I know you've seen his stuff. Jeez, He's got some bad stuff, man. And for him to call me, and he calls me on a regular basis in the morning. He's like, you know what, Cat? You make my day. You make me feel good. I said, you know what, man? You make me feel good. He's like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
He's one of those guys, dude. He's not stuck up. There's nothing about him that is not cool.
Yeah.
Even looking at the guy, he's fucking cool. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those guys,
So, is there a show or event that you've never been to that's on your bucket list?
Forbidden Fantasy out in California. Good Guys Anywhere. I really think that we have something that now we can take the Good Guys. Because, you gotta have something cool to me anyway. you got something real cool to go to good guys. And I don't care about winning anything. I just want to show them that this younger generation is here.
Yes, sir.
And I'm 47. So it took me a minute to get here, but I'm here.
Hey,
you know what I mean? So,
but it doesn't matter where you started. It's where you ended up.
Yeah, man. And I'm floating on cloud 9 every day.
Yes, sir. Awesome. So we've talked about Snooki. So people know the story. You don't want to tell anymore. I get it. I love it. So Mr. Junior over there, tell us about your OBS.
So we had a close family friend give me a 1990 454 SS.
Okay.
He bought it off the show. He ordered it in 89. He bought it off the showroom floor, had full package, everything. And then he eventually put Bell-Tech suspension on it. He dropped it. I think it was 3 inches in the front and 4 in the back. And then he eventually got torque thrust for it. So it was pretty cool. Souped it up a little bit. And then in 96, he let one of his buddies drive it. And he crashed it. So in 22, we went up to Atlanta. We had to drop one of his trucks off. Little did I know, we were picking up another truck to bring back here. And it was mine. And it was that 454 SS.
Hell yeah.
So we got to hammering down on it at Hate Fest, our show. We had a good group of people. They cab swapped it, all that. And we eventually got the motor to turn over. And so that's when we knew we had life in it. And so I want to say last year, we got it back from where we had it in storage. And we happened to have C4 Corvette suspension laying around.
Yeah, just laying around.
Laying around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And so we were going to swap.
Is it the same? Or no, you had Impala, or your dad started your truck with Impala front end, right? Okay. Yeah. So you just had C4 suspension laying around. All right, gotcha.
That's funny. I don't care who you are. That's funny. We just had some cool shit laying around.
Sounds like your papa wanted a C4 suspension in that truck, and he ended up somehow acquiring it.
Yeah, man, we're not going to talk about how I got it.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, I'm just kidding.
There's a C4 out there missing some suspension they don't know is missing yet.
Yeah, the body's sitting up on a wheelbarrow, So let me tell them this part. So I was gonna clip it and just build the front end for it, and I got to looking at it, man, the frame was bent. So it's like, man, so go ahead.
So he didn't want me riding down the road sideways. And so January. It was like January. So we were looking for another one. And our buddy Chris Root, still thank him to this day, he had a single cab OBS. And so we went over there, looked at it. It was awesome. And it needed a few things, but it ran and drove. And we get it back here. We throw a fuel pump in it. It fires right up.
Dude, it fires right up. That's one of those all-time first, pull the cap and rotor and see if that's bad or just throw a fuel pump in it, dude. And it was an old farm truck. So, perfect donor truck, So,
yeah. So as soon as it fired up, we went out front and we lit them tires up.
And when I say he lit the tires up, brother, he had that damn speedometer tapped out. I know he did, because this is his first power break, and I told him he could do it. So he was like,
oh, he's going to enjoy that moment.
Like, boy, I'm telling you, you couldn't see his truck. You couldn't see the house. You couldn't see anything, but you could see that smile through that damn smoke.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
tell you that much.
Yes, sir.
So what we're doing is we're just swapping all the suspension, all the motor, the interior, everything over into the farm truck.
Okay.
Because now now we have really a wolf in sheep's clothing, because now it looks just like an old farm truck, but it's got the heavy duty suspension. I think it's that there's a special suspension that came on those trucks for ride height that sat lower, from the factory. So we swapped everything over. We already notched it. So we're about to get back on it so he can drive it for his senior year.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, dude. And I'm going to help him however I can, because he helped me with mine,
Awesome.
So I didn't mean to jump in there.
No,
right?
you're good. So is the plan to leave it static, or is your plan down the road to grow it and
brother, we already got all the bags and stuff. It's gonna be we're gonna body it and all that, but it's gonna be fat tired and all that too. So,
okay.
Eventually.
Right.
But next year he wants his own vehicle to drive. So I thought, what cooler way to do it than,
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So the eventual plan is for that to be another show truck in the stable.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's already, the rendering's already in street trucks. I mean, you know what I mean? So like we ain't playing.
I
So
thought
he's already got
I seen that, but
Yeah, because they wrote up an article about my artwork, and they wanted to know, because I'm real good friends with Twin States Rod Shop. I helped them out and drew a bunch of designs for them. So it was a mixture between that, Rowan Conceptz, and Josh.
Okay.
So it was really cool how they tied it all together, Josh, man, he's an exceptional kid, and I'm very proud. I'm very proud of him, and I'm very proud of, what he's able to do at a young age. He's 16, dude. He notched his own truck, and it's dead on. You know what I mean? So like, that to me is so awesome, because my dad didn't do that with me. You know what I mean? So like, it's just a team, and it's always going to be a team, so.
And I will speak from the son's point of view. So your dad has taught you a lot, but there will come a time that you get to teach the old man a little something too, because my dad has a 34 Ford pickup truck and he was having steering problems. Well, with me building the Model A, there's not very many steering options that I haven't tried to figure out how to make work for what I'm trying to do. So when he was having trouble, I got to go over there, and just as your dad's got that proud papa face on right now, you'll get that proud son moment when he looks at you and goes, "Man, you actually know what you're doing."
Hey, what are you doing over here?
Because we got it done, and I was like, "Well, take it for a drive," and he took it, and he's like, "Man, this joker drives like a go-kart now. This is nice. You actually know what you're doing." And I went, "Oh." Hit you right in the feels too.
Oh yeah. Well, I can't wait for that. Yeah. I can't wait, because I'll be all giddy.
But the fact that y'all are working together, man, I love that. I love seeing the whole family vibe, which, your friends become family too. But to see your son respectful, and out there doing what y'all love to do together is super, super cool. Before we get out of here, please tell us all about Rowan Conceptz. We've dabbled in a little bit, but I definitely want to give you some time. Tell everybody what it is. Tell everybody what you're doing, how they can get a hold of you if you want some more work.
Right. Yeah. I've drawn hot rods all my life for obvious reasons. So my dad built hot rods. So it was just a natural progression. And in 2011, I had a buddy start a Facebook page for me, because everybody was telling me, "Hey man, you need to sell your artwork. You need to draw my truck. You need to do this, do that." So we started that, and now I think we're up to 80,000 people on it, on Rowan Conceptz on Facebook. But I started drawing for people, and I don't draw for me. I just draw for customers. I don't even get to doodle sometimes. You know what I mean? So it's gotten me to, in 2 weeks, we get to go to Quaker State 400 in Atlanta. And I get to hand Richard Childress Richard Childress. If you don't know who that is, you need to look him up.
Yes, sir.
I get to hand him a drawing, framed up and everything. This is where my artwork's got me. And it's just like the truck. Dude, why is this happening? You know what I mean? Like, so anyway, I draw I draw shirt designs, I draw logos, I draw posters, digital, non-digital. I paint on skate decks. I do pretty much all of it. And I've taught myself. I haven't had any schooling or anything like that. I just push myself just like with a truck. It's immaculate because we pushed the boundaries of what people said. You're not supposed to do that to a truck, right? I'm not supposed to be able to draw chrome, but I can sit down and blow your mind in 3 seconds, because I taught myself that. And I got plenty of drawing videos on TikTok. That's Rowan Conceptz 77. All the socials is Rowan Conceptz. So I do renderings. So like of your car, you hit me up. This is what I really want to see, this and that. And then I give my input. A lot of times people let me do my own thing. And then when they get it, they're like, holy shit. You know what I mean? So to me, I feel very blessed that it's been successful like this, because I haven't driven a truck in 3 years. That's what I used to do. And I started drawing for people because I had child support and I had to make up that extra income on the side, so it wouldn't take away from my family.
Yep.
So that's where that started. And it's just blown up. It's crazy. Now there's a chrome shop in North Carolina, Mayberry, North Carolina. It's the Mayberry Chrome Shop. They base that whole shop around my artwork. So you walk in there and it's all my artwork and a multi-million-dollar thing, like a shop. Like,
that's
holy
awesome.
crap. Yeah, dude. And so it's just, and Dino. I mean, just Dino. It's like, why did you reach out to me? You have so many cool people, and now we're like the best of friends. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things. But yeah, man, I appreciate you giving me a shout out there for the artwork.
Hey, man,
I really don't promote. I just like with the truck, I want you to have your experience with it. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you how to feel about it. You know what I mean? So if you like it, if you dig it, come on. If you don't, that's cool too, man.
Yeah.
Different strokes.
Well, and it's not for everybody. That was the one thing that, we say fuck how it turns out. I'ma like it. That, I don't really care if you like it. I'm building it for me. Everything that I do, I try to do for me. At the end of the day, obviously, I want people to like what I do. But at the end of the day, I want to like it. I want to love it because, and that's the same with somebody else that comes to me and is like, hey, what do you think about doing this to the car? I don't think that would be good. But you're the one in the driver's seat. If you think that painting your dash looking like Barney is what you want in your truck, go for it. I'm not a big purple guy. But if you're a purple guy, go for it. Yep.
Well, I'm going to tell you what gets me when I step out my back door and I hear crickets and I walk to my shop and open that door and I'm by myself and it's quiet. You just stand there and look at that thing. And I'm still in disbelief, man. It's really, mm-hmm. You've seen the truck in person. It's breathtaking. Yes. There's not anything. I can't believe I own that. I can't believe I lived in that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So for me, sometimes that's all I need. Yep. Just to walk out there by myself. It's like going out to the beach. You go out to the sandbar and just let everything go. That's what my truck does for me.
And
it just lets.
And that's perfect because that means that you built the right thing. Because again, it just has to make you happy. And walking out, and I know that feeling because I've had some very bad moments with the Model A. There's been some problems along the way and all of that. And I shove it over in the corner and it gets put in project timeout for a little while. But because I don't have walls, I still got to walk by it every day to go to work. And eventually, I roll it back across the shop, and I do some stuff to it. And when I go to shut the lights off at night, I get to look back at it and go, I did that.
It's something about doing it yourself. You know what I mean? I've never been able to buy a car. I've never been able to buy a hot rod. I've never been able. So I don't know what that feels like. But I damn sure know what hard work and stress and financially, all that stuff, everything combined in it. Now I reap the rewards with my friends coming over and not being able not to look at it or touch it or get in it or anything. Hey, can I do this? Can I do that? Man, do whatever you want. This is our truck. It's not my truck.
Yeah.
You think about it. I got a whole crew that put their hands on that truck. It's not just my truck.
No.
It's everybody's truck. You know what I mean? So I just feel like we're all equal. And yeah, physically it's my truck. Yeah. But man, we built this thing for the world. Well, these kids, like I said earlier, the kids sitting in it, the grown people sitting in it, the ladies sitting in it. They see what a quality seat feels like. You know what I mean? Like, and I sell my friend's business right there. Boom. You know, and I'm not out there to market stuff, but I want him to succeed. I want my son to succeed. I want everybody around me. We're coming up, you know, and there's no stop. Now there's no stopping us.
Hell yeah.
So when you see the 70 F1 Ford truck coming with all the Corvette suspension in it, yeah, that's happening with a big block, 460 big block, nitrous. There's no stopping us. There's awesome. No stopping us, and that's not like shit talk. I'm just saying internally.
Oh yeah,
it's on. You know.
So, what is one piece of advice that you would give somebody that's trying to get into the car world, whether it's the show side of things, whether it's just the hot rod side of things, or the drawing side?
Keep the negative out. It's as simple as that. Because if you let that in, it tears you apart, and then you're worried about the wrong shit. Do what you want to do and live. This is supposed to be fun. And that's it. Straight to the point.
Very good. So before I run through our fantastic sponsors, is there anybody that you would like to give a special shout out to?
Well, I would, but there's so many. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to forget anybody. So I give a shout out to all my homeboys and my son and my wife and my daughter and my mama. Just the real close people to me. I can't ask for a better thing, better team, better family. It makes me feel love. You know what I'm saying? So that's my shout out.
All right. So, make sure you go show Why Not Fab on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok some love. Make sure you go to Throttle Addict, use the code word Hot Rod, get save 15% off. Make sure you go show Johnny Jalopy some love, Facebook, YouTube, JohnnyJalopy.com. Make sure you go show Low Income Clothing and Low Income Photos, Father and Son Team, Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you go show Wrenching for the Future some love. They're getting kids back into auto shop. And first time, I'd love to welcome Psycho Fab as a new advertiser sponsor on the podcast. Can't wait to get the new idea up there to him and let him show some love to it. And also, Sinister Stitching, look out for a message because I'll be calling you because I'm going to need some interior done. Didn't think I was going to need it on the Model A, but that motherfucker couldn't stitch. So
you did all mine.
I figured we were going to have some of the same. So, till next time, guys, get out, drive a shit. Thanks for coming on again, man, and I really appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing the new rollout.
Heck yeah, man. I appreciate you inviting us on, and we need to do it again.
Hey,
maybe we'll do it in person next time in my shop.
Sir. Hell yeah, man. All right. Till next time, guys, get out, drive a shit. Later.